Tomodachi Life, living the dream.
Hey everyone, AquaTwist here. Welcome back to UI Spy, the series where I analyze the UI of video games. We went through the Switch's life cycle with barely any love for the Miis. As a Wii and 3DS enthusiast, it was sad to see one of my favorite parts of my childhood brushed off. But not anymore. Tomodachi Life Living the Dream is not just a normal sequel, it's the grand return of having Miis in the spotlight. Nintendo's pushing Miis to their greatest potential yet, and I couldn't be happier. But for those just hearing about this now, what even is Tomodachi Life? It's a social game which follows the lives of the Miis you create and include on your island. While not the most well-received by critics, it had one of the most unhinged, fun marketing campaigns Nintendo's ever done. It's since gained a cult following, especially in recent years with the rise of Wii and DS era nostalgia and social sim games. Leading up to Living the Dream's release, I pre-played the original from the beginning. While experiencing it fresh again was fun, the lack of content and repetitive gameplay became really apparent. So with the expanded customization and engagement with the Miis, I'm happy to report that this game blows the original out of the water. But can the same be said about its UI design? How do these menus fare for both returning fans and newcomers of Tomodachi Life? Let's find out. As with the majority of other first-party titles, Living the Dream adapts a minimalist aesthetic. However, unlike a previous title released this decade, Nintendo integrated a playful tone within these animations, shapes, and color choices. An example of this is the pop-up banners, such as when you're giving a Mii an item. Instead of a boring black box covering the bottom of the screen, there's a smaller, white banner, moving in a wave. This change places a greater emphasis on your interactions with the Miis, a core part of the gameplay experience. Even small events, like two Miis becoming friends, feel more accomplished. Looking more closely, we can see how the dev team retained the joyful, upbeat aesthetic with modern elements sprinkled in. Bright yellows and oranges can be found on the menu buttons, and while hovered over, a ripple line effect moves inside, using a lighter tint of that color. This soothing animation allows players to slow down when making decisions with their Miis. The UI buttons for viewing a Mii's info and giving them a gift are not truly circular, they are actually imperfect circles, as if you're hand-drawing them on paper. These icons feature dark outlines and highlights, popping them out on screen without any shading. I wish that this was the case for the Mii list and main menu icons, which are just flat white vectors. And the game uses different weights of this rounded font, making text appear soft. All these stylistic choices form the perfect balance between a unique, cute identity with modern appeal. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for the backgrounds, as they're too simplistic. Living the Dream constantly reuses this funfetti background, as I call it, more often than you'd expect. Being multi-purpose, it's more visually appealing than a standard gradient, like in the older Mii makers. But using it for, and not limited to, the Mii's profile and submenu, pop-up banner, and default house wallpaper, come on, what happened to the multitude of different wallpaper layouts? A checkerboard pattern is more interesting. Even worse, what the hell happened to the source? Gone are the 3D model dioramas, which made menu designs feel they are part of the shops themselves. For example, look at Fresh Kingdom, the food store in the game. Your Miis work here too, but there's just a simple beige background with the flat vectors. Or what about Where and Where? Recycling the Able Sisters design layout from Animal Crossing New Horizons. You can't even choose a Mii to try on the clothing to see what it would look like before purchasing? These backgrounds feel more generic and less immersive, taking players out of the shopping experience. The one exception is the Mii News Network, where the graphic design is stunning. The dialog box uses its own grid pattern, with crystals fading off of the edges. The breaking news uses a sharp red header, being small enough so it doesn't bleed against the rich blues of the background. As the MNN frequently appears to bring important island updates, the sequence evokes urgency to the news delivered. From an aesthetic standpoint, this is easily my favorite UI design in the entire game. Now that we've gotten the foundation of Living the Dream's design philosophies, let's dive deep into the gameplay systems. arguably the biggest change Living the Dream has, especially for people who grew up with the Wii and 3DS, is the Mii Maker. The amount of new body features, hairstyles, and overall customization Nintendo added is mind-boggling. This is by far the most robust and extensive Mii Maker we've ever had. You can quickly snap the cursor back to the sidebar by pressing Y at any time, which is especially useful when scrolling down a terms conditions sized hairstyles list. You can even swap the event clothing preferences, so you can give guys dresses or girl suits if you wanted to. Nintendo went above and beyond to ensure everyone can be properly represented here, with different dating preferences so you can be gay and or bi, and there's a non-binary gender option. Whoa! You can even add in real-life relationships to prevent accidental mishaps, so don't worry, two siblings can't fall in love in this game. But I will say, seeing the Mii completely static when you're making it is a bit uncanny. If you want to add a little something extra to your Mii, don't worry, there's the face paint feature. It completely overhauls the makeup system from Miitopia, being more accessible by focus on drawing and simple shape tools. Even with the reduced features, there are still endless possibilities with the Miis you can create, allowing each player's island roster to be truly their own. So yeah, Nintendo grew with the times, going miles above their previous efforts. But what if I told you this extensive customization applies to more than just the Miis? The yin to the Mii Maker's yang is the island builder. You can now break free from the default map design. Like in Pocopia, items are unlocked gradually, motivating you to chip away as you develop your island over time. But unlike Pocopia, you can easily rearrange buildings and houses around if you don't like where they are. No resources and time required. Having the grid toggled on by default allows for snappy, precise adjustments, especially with the D-pad. The map size grows over time too, preventing you from feeling overwhelmed. But if you're like me and still get analysis paralysis about what to do, don't worry. Sometimes Miis can offer suggestions of how to decorate. These are great starting points you can expand on, providing a reference for where you can add onto your island. The only real problem I have with Island Builder is the surprising lack of a delete button, where you can't remove a piece of terrain, you can only replace it. But only 25 hours in, I've barely scratched the surface of Island Builder's potential. Clown all you want about the Nintendo Today app, but you have to admit, they've shared some pretty creative designs on there. Once I've unlocked all the buildings and got a decent amount of Miis moved in, I hope to transform Inaba Island into a living, breathing city. Now, what is it like to interact with these menus? For the most part, it feels fantastic, but the lack of mouse mode support for the Switch 2 can make gameplay feel sluggish at times. Granted, I know this game was designed for the original Switch, but as someone who grew up with the original Tomodachi Life, transitioning from a handheld focused design to one which supports the larger screens took a bit of adjusting. For a comparison, let's look at the interface when in a Mii's apartment. On the 3DS, bright orange icons are divided across all sides of the screen. When you need to interact with the Mii, such as when they have a problem, tap the center of the screen and they talk to you. On the Switch, when entering a Mii's house, you have to move the cursor with the analog stick, hover over the Mii, then press A. However, when you open up the Mii hotbar on the island, then pick a Mii, you can just press A twice to talk to them. Why isn't this the case normally? Sure, the touchscreen is supported in handheld mode, but only for specific menus. These UI buttons appear larger than normal, indicating that they can be tapped, but that's not always possible. It's like the transition from Mario Maker 1 to Mario Maker 2. While Mario Maker 2 is still incredible, featuring a wider toolset, not having access to a touchscreen at all times makes level creation less intuitive. Although Living the Dream's button controls function fine for the most part, it becomes a problem when utilizing these customization tools. In the palette editor, the analog stick doesn't have the precision a mouse cursor has for creating more complex shapes and drawings. Nintendo tried their best with different toggles for straight and smooth lines, and you can use your finger on the touchscreen, but these are not the same. Mouse mode could have also benefited Island Editor, allowing you to quickly add a bunch of blocks to your island at a time. These few extra seconds lost from the lack of a mouse cursor add up quickly over time, slowing down the gameplay experience. Why couldn't Nintendo do what they did with Mario Paint on Switch 1 and allow for standard USB mouse support? Otherwise, I don't have many other gripes with the UX in Living the Dream, as it implemented dozens of quality of life features to make up for it. And for longtime fans of the original, we're in for a treat. As much as I'd love to gush about every minor tweak and addition, I won't be able to cover them all here. Instead, I'll be listing the most important changes, evolving Tomodachi Life from a simple social game to a life sim powerhouse. First, the Mii menu allows you to find everyone on your island roster at all times. No longer do you have to play Where's Waldo to find that one specific Mii you want to talk to. Opening this up shows a hotbar of 6 Miis, preventing the screen from being cluttered, allowing you to watch wherever hijinks your Miis are up to. Up to 70 Miis total can be added to your island, neatly dividing them into pages displaying 12 Miis at a time. You can go hands-on with your Miis, dragging them around to anywhere on the island. Miis can also be grabbed and quickly teleported to another Mii's location, by pressing Y to open up the Mii menu, then select the one you want them to talk to. Both of these changes provide players more control over the interactions with the Miis, including the relationships they want to develop. Speaking of which, Living the Dream puts relationships front and center this time around. When selecting a Mii and choosing which other Mii to talk to, it displays the relationship level, either strangers, acquaintances, or friends. As two Miis meet each other and build their friendship, the camera zooms in on them, and each person's relationship status clearly changes. Each step is color-coded, starting off from the neutral gray of strangers to the cool mint green of acquaintances, then bright yellow for friends. The color transition working in parallel with these steps makes the relationship system more rewarding, encouraging players to try to make as many friends as possible. It's more realistic too, where sometimes acquaintances don't reciprocate their feelings. Miis aren't always just like, I want to be friends with blank this time. It's now your job to bring these two Miis together and earn their friendship. The overall pace of the game feels faster too, with certain mechanics being streamlined. When Miis speak to you, you can sip their dialogue with mashing A. Daily donation just show the total amount of money your Miis give you. And when you go to save your game, it just is a generic, do you want to save panel. It's no longer a separate screen, and the random Mii animation that played is gone. While I appreciate the snappiness, I miss slowing down and taking my time with my Miis. In a way, it reminds me of the transition from the Wii and 3DS menus to the Switch, sacrificing good vibes for speed and convenience. A powerful major mechanic added is the wishing fountain. Each Mii's problem you solve on the island adds warm fuzzies to a jar. Once the jar fills up, you pour into the fountain to grant a wish, unlocking new features for your island and Miis. The wishing fountain solves the biggest problem I had with the original Tomodachi Life, providing players a concrete gameplay loop which keeps them hooked. As with the island builder, these items unlock gradually, revealing only a small portion of what's available. This adds an addictive nature to Living the Dream, incentivizing you to keep leveling up to see what can be added next. Speaking of leveling up, the expressions you can give to your Miis have also been expanded. You can now teach Miis catchphrases, what to say before eating, at the end of sentences, and more. Unfortunately, changing the pose a Mii is in during the expression can't be done at the same time. This is likely due in part to the new quirk system, allowing you to fine-tune nearly every detail about a Mii's actions, even down to how they walk. However, it would have been nice if you could see the Miis doing their quirks while giving them phrases. Let's say a Mii says "itadakimasu" before eating, and you already gave it the "eats with gusto" quirk, you would see both at the same time. Returning to Fresh Kingdom real quick, you can now buy different items at the same time. That's huge! Imagine if you went to like Stop and Shop. You had to go to the register, leave, then come back for every item you wanted to buy. It'd take forever. And the total cost of your groceries is displayed in real time, making it more realistic. Once you've paid for it, it prints a receipt. Price tags underneath food items have white banners with red stripes like an actual grocery store. SpongeBob, look! Materialistic design! Now imagine if the dioramas was still there, then this menu would be perfect. And oh, what about wear and wear? With how it breaks down the gender barrier for clothing. Let's go! Each piece of clothing is broken down to separate tabs, 9 total. You're no longer restricted to specific outfits. You can still buy pre-made outfits if you'd like, or you can create your own. It's up to you, even down to the socks you want me to wear. Uninspired UI aside, wear and wear is a microcosm of Living the Dream's breadth of customization. Even the simple "please take a look inside my head" is more to it. It's now an actual mini game where you have 5 seconds to clear the objects inside the Mii's head with a dotted pattern texture and navy blue grid background. These small touches all add up to make Living the Dream a game-changing experience. And lastly, the total number of Mii's with problems is displayed inside a circle next to the Mii list icon. Using yellow for this notification circle and the problem bubbles are more of a warning to players rather than a search of urgency. It's more like a, hey, can you check on me when you get the chance? encouraging players to not feel pressured as they experience Tomodachi Life's relaxed atmosphere. Overall, Tomodachi Life Living the Dream was worth the wait, and I still can't believe it's real. The dev team took advantage of waiting a decade, returning the quirkiness which made the original so iconic, while overhauling the game design to gravitate to modern audiences. Some of the original charm is lost, naturally from transitioning from a handheld to console experience. But it's still hilarious, and I'm still having a fun time. The breadth of customization and player representation, on top of minimalist UI that isn't boring, this is the perfect swan song of the original Switch in my eyes, reminding us that no matter how greedy, lazy, or boring Nintendo can be, they'll always find a way to surprise and delight us. Let's just hope this brings a resurgence of the Miis and they can return in a future title. But what do you think of Living the Dream? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to like this video, share this video, and subscribe if you want to see more UI analysis in the future. Keep on dreaming, and remember, your life is your own.
Objection!